and stitches, an eye-opening experience. This occurred on April 1st of the year 2022. No joke, April 1st. And Shelly and I were in our bed, and she had a dog named Simba who was laying sleeping at the foot of the bed. And I had moved my head a little bit, I don't know, closer to the dog. Uh, I think I might have been between Shelly and the dog. And everything was all peaceful. Then all of a sudden, that dog decided to attack me. That dog went for my head first, and dog went crazy, totally berserk, full on attack, the growling, you name it. It was going after my head, and I couldn't get out of it. I was like, that dog was on full on attack mode. I'm trying to get away from the dog, and I'm scooting further, trying to get further away from the dog, and I'm not having any success. And as I'm trying to draw further from the dog has moved down from my head down to my neck. And I'm thinking, okay, now the dog's got my neck, going after my neck like crazy. And I remember thinking to myself, he's gonna puncture my carotid artery and I'm gonna bleed to death here. I'm just gonna go, this is gonna be the end of me. And about that time, that's when Shelly grabbed the back legs of that dog and pulled that dog off of me. Now I have teeth marks going across my neck and stuff from where she pulled. That dog was hanging on for dear life and left its marks. This is being pulled off of me. And I'd laid back down, and I think I had my hands over my eyes. I remember thinking, am I going to be able to see? My left eye was the main target of the attack. And I remember moving my hand away from my eye and looking up, and I could see. So I knew at least I could still see out of that eye. So at least I had some hope there, right? So this this little dog attack gave me a ticket to go to the emergency room. So my daughter Tuesday happened to be the chosen one to take me to the emergency room. I forgot which hospital she took me at, but we ended up going there, and I think I had some, I don't know, cloth or shirt, I don't know what, something covered my eye because it was bleeding and all this stuff. And so eventually I got someone look at me at this hospital. And, you know, they're looking at my eye and stuff, and they doing things to it. They finally come to the conclusion they can't fix it here. They don't have a doctor that's specialized in to fix it. So I got to be transferred to another hospital, and I was transferred over to the San Antonio BAMC, Brooke Army Medical Center. They had a trauma center, and they had eye doctors there that could fix this. So I got transferred over there. So after a trip over there, I go to their, I guess, emergency room, I don't know. And So I got put into some little office there. So some girl eye doctor shows up and she's looking at my eye, doing all kinds of stuff, and she's talking to other doctors. I remember her conferring with someone else. So what had happened was, well, I guess what they discovered is my eye duct on my left eye was torn in two. Also had lacerations on the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid that had to have stitches. And they had to fix the tear duct that was torn in half. So they said, I gotta have surgery. I said, okay. Said, I remember saying, I need a chill pill before I go into surgery. And they gave me a chill pill. Now this surgery, I had to be awake while they operated on my eye. So I go to this surgery room and I lay down on this table and got the chill pill. One for that, I think I would definitely been in trouble. So I lay down and they had covered the bad eye. They had covered the bad eye and I couldn't see out of it. And they were working on that bad eye. But my good eye, it wasn't covered. I could see. But the bad thing was there was a very bright light straight above me. And if I opened my eyes, I just had that bright light shining right back at me. So pretty much kept my eye closed most of the time. But I had 2 eye doctors working on me. So they started working on me. And of course they had to give me shots to deaden the eye to where I wouldn't feel any pain. And they said, if you do feel pain, let us know. I said, okay. So these doctors, they have these, they wear these like glasses, little things that looks like they magnify whatever they're looking at. And so they start working on me. And they're looking for my tear duct. I guess since it's cut in half, they got 2 pieces, I guess they look for. And they kept looking and they can't find my tear duct. And there was from time to time, I could start feeling what they were, whenever they're probing my eye. Sometimes I said, I can feel that. And they'd say, can you feel this? And they'd do it again. I said, yeah, I feel that. I said, hold on, we're gonna give you a shot. They gave me a shot. Now the shot stung a lot more than what I was feeling, but it did eventually, the pain went away back again. This happened several times during that surgery. Oh, I feel that. Anyway, and they did the same thing again. You feel that? Yep. So they're working on me and they're working on me. And they finally call in a 3rd doctor, bring in a 3rd doctor. So now I had a 3rd doctor looking at it. Time passes. They're bringing in a 4th doctor. They can't find my tear duct. And, you know, this is probably a couple of hours now. I'm like, okay. And they bring in a 5th doctor. This doctor is like the head of the whole thing. He's the most experienced one. So he's starting working on it. Well, thank goodness he seemed to know what he was doing because he found it. So now they get to start working on fixing my tear duct. Now I'm getting kind of antsy. I've been laying here for a couple of hours. I'm like, I'd really like to get up. I'm getting tired of laying here. I'm working on my eye. I'm not liking this at all. This is what I'm thinking in my head. I ain't telling anybody this, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. I need to tell these guys, hey, y'all need to finish up. I need to get up off this table. I'm not happy. I'm happy that they found the tear duct and they're working on tear duct. They can finally fix that. I said, oh, they're done. Then they say, now we got to stitch the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. We got to put stitches in those. I said, okay, at least I know that it's getting closer to the end. So they stitch the upper eyelid, the tear in that or cut or whatever it is, laceration they call it. Then they stitch the lower one. And by the time they were finished operating on my eye, 3 hours had passed by, and my chill pill was just about worn off by this time. I was very glad to get up off that table. So they gave me medicine to put in my eye. I had these tubes of medicine. Put that in my eye every 4 hours. Every 4 hours, popping that stuff in my eye. So I have one lubricated eye for quite a while. Now, of course, after you have your eye surgery, you get to go back. They got to check your eye out. So I think it's at least monthly at the minimum. I had to go back to that BAMC hospital, and they would check my eye, check the progress and stuff. So I had multiple visits doing this. So one of these visits, they're looking at my eye, and they had 5 eye doctors. Each eye doctor looked at my eye through this. I had this thing that they look at your eye through, this instrument. Each one of those 5 doctors looked at my eye, and they would talk about my eye and stuff. And they said, I need another surgery. I said, okay. They said there's 2 surgeries. They had to decide on which one. One surgery, they said I'd have to be put to sleep. And the reason I have to be put to sleep is they said it's too painful to do it awake. I said, okay. And the other surgery, they could do it while I was awake. So all these 5 doctors conferred with each other, and it says, we're going to do the surgery that do while you're awake. So once again, so the next surgery begins. I lay on the table again. I don't think I had any chill pills this time, but it shouldn't be as long as the surgery as the first one. And so I lay down, and this time they cover my good eye, and I can see out of my bad eye. And when I look up, I can see my 2 doctors with their little scopes on their eyeballs there, looking down on me. So as I do the surgery, I'm looking at them. Of course, I can hear them speak and the whole thing. And so they begin the surgery. Now the surgery is supposed to bring the corner of my eye closer to where it should have been. It's not quite where it's supposed to be. and I think it also supposed to tighten the lower eyelid up closer to the eye was the purpose. So they begin the surgery, and I can feel them cutting beneath my eye. I could actually feel it. I mean, it didn't hurt, but I could feel I don't know, the pressure of the blade cut my eye. And then they did some stitching, and it wasn't very long. I can't be sure how long, 15 minutes or whatever. And they were finished. And when I look in the mirror, I can see stitches right below my eye. And somehow or another, that's where they tied it off. I'm not really sure. Anyway, that second surgery was finished. So once again, I'm having to come back multiple appointments. Every time I come back, they look at my eye and do all kinds of stuff with it. Eventually, they discharge me, and I don't have to go back again. Now, this bad eye, or this one I had 2 surgeries, it has a tendency to get infections, and I have some problems with it. I have to, baby it a lot more than the good eye. So I got a bunch of medicine I can always put in it to fix things up. Just kind of looking at the eye surgery stuff. I remember before I even had I remember it might have been right after I had my surgery or something like that. I looked at an eye chart. I couldn't even make out the big first letter on the eye chart. I couldn't even read it. So in the early days, I couldn't even do very good on reading the eye chart. Things just weren't right. But anyway, it's an experience that you probably don't want to go through. But I didn't have any choice. If I didn't have the surgery, they said I'd have what they call a teary eye. So I guess if my tear duct was broken, then the tears would just roll out of my eye instead of going through the duct. So that probably would have been a not so good thing to have. Anyway, that's the end of my story on my eye surgery.